get to do that. There we go. All right, Jim, if you'd like to say hi and introduce yourself and whatever, any little.
Jim Black. I've known Rex for a couple years. That's all.
Yeah.
Been
Quite a
taking
career.
pictures for about 68 years. Had a hiatus when I was working, but back to it after I retired. Usually go out west for my picture taking, but not always. Going to be going out there hopefully in September.
What
Can
part?
you hear me, Rex?
Yeah, we
Can
can
you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wasn't sure.
Where you headed
I'm
out
kind
west?
of new to Zoom.
Oh, okay. Where you headed out west to?
We're gonna stay in Moab and we're gonna hit all the places around there. We've been out there about 3 or 4 other times before. This time we're just gonna sit in one spot and we're gonna hit let's see, Capitol Reef, of course Arches and Canyonlands and Monument Valley and a few other places. Goblin Valley, if you've never been there.
I'm going next year with me and my mom. My bucket list was Antelope Canyon. So we're going to do upper and lower. We're going to also revisit Monument Valley. We're going to do the Utah 5. We're probably going to be out there for like 10 days. So if you got any tips, please feel free to share.
If you do Antelope Canyon, make sure you do the longer trip. When we did it, they had 2 trips. One was only 30-minute walk through and the other was for photographers and you paid more, of course. And that was an hour walk through.
Yeah, I've seen the ones that are like an hour, hour and a half. Those are the ones we're looking to do, both upper and lower the same day.
Absolutely. And make sure you go at the right time of year because you want that sun overhead.
Yeah, we're going to go in May of next year.
May it'll be just a little bit off, but it'll still be good, or it should be.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's a challenge on some of the pictures because that sun's beaming down there can just blow things right out if you're not careful.
Okay, I can handle that.
You'll enjoy it.
All right.
Who's next?
Well, the rest of us are all semi-long time members. But anyhow, I'll show myself just for a second, but I was out yesterday on a motorcycle ride and most of my face is burnt pretty good. With the exception of the perfect line where my helmet went across my forehead. So
it's not a road rash, right?
No, it's not a road rash. I did 111 miles on a motorcycle yesterday. So as you can see the line.
Oh yeah.
And it hurts a little bit, but anyhow, Jim, I'm Brian, president of the group. Annie's not here. Marty's not here. Margie, you heard her talking. She's the flowers. Jim Murphy's on here. Carl's on here. We got a bunch of people on here. We have a bunch of officers. I was naming the officers. We got John's a long time member. Linda's relatively new. Alan's a couple years in.
Beth, you got
Beth on here, yeah. Beth's not a little bit under the weather, so we're not going to ask her to talk until it's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
She's upside down anyhow. We'd have a trouble interpreting.
Yeah, is that it?
So
Annie, I just talked to Annie. She said, "Oh crap!" So she's coming. She'll be on. And Marty said, "Yeah." So
okay,
she'll be on in a few.
So Marty and Annie will be joining us.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Jim, I'm sure Rex has told you about us. We're pretty laid back and have a lot of fun, but we talk a lot and go over a lot of stuff. We have these meetings. This meeting once a month. We have on a second Monday of the month. We have a meeting on the last Thursday of the month. That is usually digital. I know you're not from around here locally, are you? You're from
No, I'm just outside Washington, DC.
Okay. So we have a meeting where we meet in Greensburg. So if you're ever down this way and you're around in the middle of the month, we have one there where we actually meet together.
I'll keep it in mind.
I'm not going to talk about Washington D.C. because Margie will kill me. So
Yeah, definitely. Not only that, but that's where Caitlin is working right now. So
oh really?
yeah, she went from New York down to Washington, DC.
But I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy. Pick something up or teach us something. You got some experience here. It sounds like so. We got a wide range of or wide array, I should say, of members and I can't think of the word. Experience.
Skills.
Capabilities,
Experience and skills.
interests,
From
interests.
from new people to.
We haven't asked him the critical question.
I was getting there. I was getting there.
Okay.
So the critical question then is, Jim, what kind of camera do you use?
It's going to be the age-old battle between certain brands. Is that it? I use two Canons. I mean, sorry, Nikons. What am I saying? I've got an 850 and a Z6.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
So you're in, Jim. You're in.
Yep, that's right.
And I still have film cameras too, but I don't use them anymore.
All
Oh, you
right.
should.
Beth just did a backflip in her chair.
And Carl almost went across his car there.
Okay, I have 2 1/4s in a Bronica and a Mamiya.
Cool.
Very good.
Very cool.
As you see, Beth's background is a what's that? A 4x5, Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, that's my new one.
She's
Or new-ish.
she shoots almost exclusively film. Once in a while we'll catch her with a digital camera in her hand. So
Oh, I still have
welcome.
film. I've got 12 rolls frozen in my freezer right now for my small cameras.
I have a few too.
One day we'll get to them.
Well, we welcome you. I hope you enjoy, and we'll get through some stuff here this evening. I got a little bit of business to cover, and then we'll get into our program tonight and go from there. Rex sent me a
Okay.
video.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just was going to ask if you find a spot during the night to show it's a 6-minute video. And since Denoise NR is kind of new in the LRC editing software, that one of the questions I had is, when is it appropriate to use? Do you do all your fixing and then use it, or do you use it and then do all your fixing? It's very interesting how he plays it all out. We'll take a look if you get a chance to put it on.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that. So Rex sent me a video on denoise, and it's kind of as Rex just alluded to, when do you use it in your process? And then Margie just sent me a video on biggest thing that ever
Photoshop
happened
AI.
in Photoshop. So I don't know. She must have felt it was pretty good because she sent it to me, and she don't do that too often. So we'll play that one too. So we got a couple quick videos we'll play, as well as the rest of our meeting tonight. So I still don't see Annie or Marty, and I kind of needed them for the business, but that's okay. We can come back to their parts whenever we get there. Let me get my tablet open up here. I really don't have anything under old business unless anyone else has something. Okay. New business. One of the things I needed was Marty for was I was reading a flurry of emails that says there's a new show coming up. So we're getting another show we're gonna be involved with, and I think that's in the first part of next year, if I believe correctly from reading the emails.
Brian, is that you referring to the Greensburg Arts Center?
That is me referring to the Greensburg Arts Center. Yes.
Yeah. In case Marty doesn't show up, they contacted Marty, and it was either going to be they want us back next year is the bottom line. And it was a matter of would it be better for us to have a spring or a fall show? And Beth, whoever else was in that email exchange, correct me, but I think it was settled for a spring show, a May timeframe.
I do believe you're right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
just kind of,
Brian, I thought also, don't we have an upcoming show, I think in October at Brushes and Beans in Murraysville, if
we
I
do.
read
I seen
things
that.
correctly?
I seen that in the newsletter. You are correct. When Marty joins, if she gets to us tonight, we'll ask her some more information about that because I think she's in charge of that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's the next one.
Yep. Yeah, so we have one there in the fall, and then we've added one now for next year in the spring. So I just wanted to get that brought up to your attention so that you guys would be aware of that. What else do I have under? I guess this would be old business, but we'll say it anyhow. WPS dues. If you haven't paid your dues, please do so. If you have, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You guys check your emails today. I sent out a quick little questionnaire just so that we can update our records and make sure we have contact information for you guys. So if something's getting canceled and we need to call you or we're waiting for you and we need to call you, we'll have your phone number, email address, that kind of thing. Take you 30 seconds to fill it out and send it in. Right before the meeting, I checked, there were 7 people that had already filled it out. So those of you that did, thank you. If you haven't, please do so. Like I said, a couple minutes or a couple seconds, fill it out and send it in, just so we can make sure we have everyone's information. We'll see. What else did I have on here? Photo walks. June 25th is our next scheduled photo walk, which is at the Botanical Gardens in Pittsburgh. Not Phipps Conservatory, the Botanical Gardens. I also noticed, just as I was looking through Facebook yesterday, and someone had posted some pictures of a Civil War reenactment out at the Old Bedford Village. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder when the Wild West show is, because I usually go to that. And it happens to be on June 25th. So it's the same day. So that's Old Bedford Village at the Wild West. Now our scheduled walk is for the Botanical Gardens in Pittsburgh. I will probably opt to go to the Old Bedford Village myself. I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of like not to miss that, the Cowboy Wild West show out there. So
Does it run more than one day though?
Well, it's a Saturday and Sunday, and as you all know, I work Saturdays till 3:00. So by the time I get done, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'll look at that. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a vacation at the end of June and get to do both. We'll see. Anyhow, I wanted to bring that up and just mention it. Let's see. Talk about is our next one is coming up is June 15th. And I noticed in the newsletter, it said to bring your camera because there would be stations set up.
You don't need a tripod,
Okay. So you don't need a tripod.
but you do need the camera.
Typically take a picture.
Read the newsletter, the article in the newsletter. They'll be important.
Which article in the newsletter? What are you referring
one
to?
I
The last
write.
article?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to see what that is now. She's got my curiosity. Oh, now I can't figure out what I did with the newsletter. Never mind. I'll open it up in a minute here. So anyhow, that's all I had for business in here. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? Okay. When we get Annie or Marty on here, we'll ask them to expand on a couple things that they have more information on than I do. So we'll let that go for now. All right. If there's nothing else in that way, we can go. Beth, are you going to be okay to?
I think so. I can at least do the share my screen part, and then if I stop talking, everybody can either read it or like, whatever.
Okay. Beth's a little under the weather. She sent me an email and said she's going to give it a try. If she can't get through it, we'll help out. All right, Beth.
Okay, is everybody seeing building a website?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And very definitely, this is not the definitive guide. But the things that you basically need are a domain name, you need hosting, and you need to set up the site somehow and some ability to add new content. For places to do it, these usually offer hosting as well as building. Wix, Squarespace, Shopify are all pretty easy to use. They have templates that you just drag and drop, but they're also not cheap. The cheapest for Wix is $16 a month. And I think that might even just be an introductory year or something. If you want to add e-commerce and actually sell through your site, then the cheapest is $27 a month. But they do have a lot of templates to use, so you're not creating from scratch. Like, you don't have to sit there and figure out, oh, do I want this a little bit higher than that? Do I want this lower? What color? You can just grab a template and do it from that. Squarespace works pretty much the same, and obviously they're competing with Wix because their prices are pretty similar. On the right side of this, can you see it, or is the pictures thing getting in the way?
Picture's getting in the way.
Okay, hold on, let me see if I can get rid of that because my mouse disappeared.
Beth, the only thing on our screens are us, I think. And I think the individuals can minimize that if that's a problem. But your slide it's complete.
Yeah, I see the whole thing. I just took down to the person talking.
Okay. Because I don't seem to have a mouse at the moment because I'm doing the slideshow. I've never used Keynote before, so sorry. But they have, according to them, they have templates to fit every need, which they probably do. Shopify is a lot more expensive, but they're intended for selling. They also seem to be intended more for people that are kind of big and actual companies, not just like a portfolio or something like that. But they do have, if you don't need hosting, they just have a $5 a month level, but hosting is kind of important because that's where everything actually resides. The cheaper ones, which are more work, usually you end up using WordPress, but you still need hosting. Bluehost, web.com, SiteGround, GoDaddy, Blogger, stuff like those are a lot cheaper, but you have to do a lot more of the work. So they're not quite as easy. Bluehost is one of the ones that's actually recommended by WordPress. And it's, even at its most expensive, the basic plan is $11 a month, which is less than all of the others. They install and run the WordPress, and you choose what theme you want. So then there's a main theme for every year and several others along the way too, or you can buy themes. Bluehost has bigger hosting plans than that as well, if you do get bigger as a company. They also say that they have experts who can help you design your site for you so that you don't have to try to figure out all the stuff that I haven't really figured out yet on mine, because I'm not using Bluehost and hadn't really looked into them that much when I started mine. But I couldn't find pricing on that. So I don't know how much that costs to have them design your site for you. Web.com you can either use WordPress or their builder, and it's relatively cheap still. And I don't know if the WordPress hosting goes up, but I think it does. Probably does, because everything's got introductory prices. SiteGround is actually the one that I use, and somebody that I know through Fotrio recommended it because he builds sites for businesses, and this is who he usually uses for hosting. And they do all different types of hosting, but for WordPress, they'll keep it updated. Some of the plugins, they'll update for you. Some of them you have to go in and update. They have extras that you can add for security monitoring, for different, like the different SSL certificates, things like that. Some of the other sites include that, and SiteGround, a lot of stuff is added on. GoDaddy, I've used before, and that's actually who I bought my domain name from, because I did it that long ago. But they're a little bit more expensive. You have to pay for the first year up front. And it renews for a lot more. It costs more than SiteGround or Bluehost. And Ken was using GoDaddy for a site for a military group, and I was the one stuck running it. And every time they updated WordPress, they broke the theme because we'd changed some of the colors. So it automatically reverted to the original every single time that they updated something. I don't know if that's still going to happen because that was about 10 years ago. On SiteGround, I've tweaked my theme a little bit and it's never been an issue. Nothing's ever been different after doing an update. They also do non-WordPress hosting. They're not known for stability. When I was running PhotoChimps, it was briefly on GoDaddy and it was a royal pain because their cPanel just did not make sense to try to fix things if anything needed to be updated on that. Blogger, if all you want to do is just blog posts and not have a separate gallery, not have other pages, things like that, Blogger still exists and it's still free as far as I can tell. It's just very limited in what you actually can do. And it's owned by Google. So if you have a Gmail address, you can log in and do it that way. And my site is eKing Images, but I haven't figured out a lot of the things with WordPress that I really should. I still haven't figured out how to do a separate gallery page and some of the other stuff. But it's been very stable, knock on wood. It gets updated anytime. WordPress updates. They're very good about, like if somebody makes a comment on any of my images, because I left that ability in, although I debated taking it off, but I get an email. So I can either approve it or send it to spam. And so far, the only non-spam ones that I've gotten are from my mother-in-law, and somebody who saw my site mentioned on Fotrio. So, it's not exactly high traffic, but it's, it's there. I did find that I do still have a Blogger site when I was looking through stuff. So, they do stay there whether you do anything on them or not. Because my last post on there is probably from like 2015 or something like that. The pros and cons for WordPress are actually kind of similar. Because yeah, you can do just about anything. The problem is that you can do just about anything. and trying to figure out which of the 30 million plugins you want to use to do it is kind of a challenge. It seems like there's an infinite number of choices of what you want to do. So it's, if you go in having an idea of what you want to do, you're probably better off. If you go in and don't really know, it's probably going to look like my site, which isn't great. And it's all up to you to do it unless you know somebody who knows how to do it, or you pay somebody who knows. But the template ones, it's limited to their website. You can only use, like if you set up a site on Wix, you can't move that to somewhere else. But I think with WordPress, you might be able to. I'm not entirely sure of that, and it might depend on exactly how you do it. But if you're the one doing it, you would at least hopefully remember what you did. So which one to use kind of depends on how much time you've got and how much of a control freak you are and how much you want to spend. So if you're cheap and you're a control freak, then WordPress is probably the way to go. If you're neither of those, then Wix or Squarespace would probably work really well. For image sizes, best practices, that sort of stuff, each platform tends to have their own recommendations, but for the most part, 2,500 pixels across is the biggest that any of them said that you'd need. And that's really just for the big background image for the main page. So if you've got just a white background or gray or black or something, then you wouldn't even need anything that big. Because let's face it, most of the time these days, people are looking at websites from their phones. So it doesn't need to be a huge file. The smaller the file size, the faster your site is going to load for somebody too. So if you make your images really big, it's going to take forever and they're probably going to just give up. And that was part of the problem back when Flash existed. If anybody remembers trying to get on sites using Flash, because that kind of sucked. Watermarks, some people love them, some people hate them. I don't know that they necessarily work to prevent somebody taking a screenshot and using the image. On WordPress, you can allow comments or disallow, but you also get to choose whether you want to enable moderation, which is how you can keep the spammers off, which is definitely a good thing. I think that's actually all I've got. My only advice as far as design is look at sites from other photographers and say, I like this idea. I don't like this idea. Have a picture in your head of how you think you want your site to look. What do you want people to see as the first thing on your site? Because with WordPress, you get to decide which one is the splash page. And then how to name all of the others and how to get to those. But don't ask me how to make a gallery page because I still haven't figured that one out.
Actually, it's not that hard. I make my own gallery pages on my
Oh, do
site.
you? Okay. So that is all I've got, actually.
Hey, Beth, just one suggestion for anybody that is interested in pursuing this, and I don't do it myself, but two guys on YouTube that I follow that are photographers are almost every week sponsored by Squarespace, and they have percentage discounts for your first, I'm not sure if it's month or year or whatever for using Squarespace. So if anyone's interested, it's Nigel Danson and Thomas Heaton are two that I know that offer discounts for Squarespace accounts.
Okay. Yeah, there's probably places to sign up for emails or something where you get discount codes for a lot of them. I know SiteGround does occasional training things and stuff, most of which has been kind of more than I needed. It wasn't really portfolio based. It was bigger than that. And I just realized there's another one that I forgot that's actually run through the same people that run MPEX. And now I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it, but it's aimed more at portrait and people photographers than it is anything else, because you can create separate galleries and give a password just to a small group of people so that that's the only gallery that they see.
It's called Zenfolio.
That's it. Yes. And I do still have one because I created one with all the pictures from my grandmother's house, so that all my cousins and aunts and uncles, etc., could see them. But it doesn't really help me that much. It's one that I'm probably gonna axe at some point. But that one's like, I don't know, 140 a year, something like that.
That'd
But
be
you
nice.
also get to decide if somebody wants to get a print, then you get a cut. And you decide how much your cut is going to be.
Zenfolio is more like $300 and some a year.
Is it? I might be grandfathered in then, because I know mine's not that
It is,
bad.
because that's what they charged me last year.
Is it?
So, yeah. Yeah, I think it was like $340 what I paid.
Okay. I'll have to look at that one, because that's the one that I don't really need
I'll
anymore anyway.
I'm gonna, since Beth, you went through that and you made it through with your voice and stuff like that, share my screen. I'm gonna show you guys a couple quick things. Oh, let's see. We need that one. Okay. You should be seeing a 2.8 photography page with pictures on it.
Yep.
Okay, that's Zenfolio. They have different templates you can use. I haven't done anything with this site for a while. I need to do something with it, but it's actually relatively easy to work with if you use your templates. There's a home page. Here's a portfolio page. You can set up your portfolio however you want: portraits, weddings, events, that type of thing. If we go back to home, the client galleries, which is the pages that Beth was just talking about. So here's class of 1968. If you click on that, it's going to ask you for a password. And this one was easy. I think that's the password. I haven't been in here for a while. Yeah. So, and that's just pictures from a class reunion that I did for somebody, and they wanted it, and they went in and ordered from there, and it actually works pretty good
Oh
as
my
far
God,
as
that's
ordering
my
goes.
sister.
Huh?
That's my sister.
Was it really?
Ah.
Hold on, we go
Okay.
back. Are you messing with me?
No, I'm not messing with you. That was my sister and brother-in-law.
Which one?
Second one down on the left. I keep forgetting to push the button. Yeah, I know a bunch of those people now.
Well, this was a class of 1968 from down your way, because that's where I was at. I took these pictures at the pizza. They sell pizza and stuff like that up on the left-hand side going from Greensburg towards Latrobe. I can't think of the name of the place.
Rizzo's?
Really?
I think that's what it was. But anyhow, that's a example of a client gallery, and then they can go in and click on it and buy it, and it orders it straight through MPix and ships it directly to them. I never do anything other than they send me some money, which isn't too bad. And then you can set all your prices and everything like that. And how much you can set your price based on how much it costs and how much you want to make. They have multiple ways of doing it. I go through and just individually set the prices of what I sell. But you can set it up as like a blanket, all the standard photographs I want to make 30% on. And no matter what the price is, it adds 30% and sends you the 30% part. That kind of thing. Let's see what else was on here. You can do a about page and a contact page. So about is just a little whatever you want it to be. And a contact page where you can put in your information and then they can put in a message and get a hold of you. It's relatively simple, but the biggest part of it is when you start selling stuff on it, it connects, it prints and ships it directly to the customer. You never have to touch it unless you want it shipped to you first. You can have it done that way as well, to where they'll print it, they ship it to you, you inspect it, then ship it to your customer or hand it to your customer. But it's nice because if you don't want to deal with all that, you can set it up. And that's how I have it set up right now, where you just you go in, you click buy, and they print it, ship it, and it gets to them very quickly too. So anyhow, that is Zenfolio. This is WordPress. This is a WordPress blog. And it's really easy to set up and do. It's easy to put photos on it, to feature that. So this would be like a featured photo for the blog information, and then the photos and stuff like that. And pretty neat. You can do videos. You can link YouTube videos, which I did here, into your blog, all kind of stuff like that. So WordPress is nice, but it's at least their blog part is, to me, very, no matter what theme you use, it kind of looks the same. It looks like this to me.
I think that's the same theme mine is.
I think it's like 2021 or something like that. I can't remember because, and the nice part is like this here, you can do, them things are all, all the little buttons you have to press, they're always in the way for me. This one's 28photography.net. So I own that, and it's from somewhere else, and I have it directed to this blog. And it's fairly easy to do that with WordPress. They're pretty decent about that. So I do that. Let's see, the other one.
Is that one just hosted by WordPress?
This one is hosted. Yeah, this is a free one through WordPress. Other than I own the name, and I direct my name to this website is how I do it.
Yeah.
And this is the free one because it still has WordPress on it. When I did pay for this, it wouldn't show like WordPress down here in a corner, and you would not see WordPress anywhere on the site. They remove all their information if you pay for it. Let's see, what else do we have here? This is our WPS site, and this is hosted completely through Wix. It's quick, easy. It's easy to work with. And I can show you, here is the editor for Wix, and you can come in here and click on something, add a section, move it, adjust it, rewrite it, whatever you want to do. And then add sections, add elements. There's all kind of stuff you can do over here. And it's pretty easy. Once you mess with it a little bit, it's pretty darn easy to go through. And the nice part is you can switch it and look at it. This is what it's going to look like on a phone. So I know Beth mentioned a lot of people look at stuff on a phone. This gives you, it gives you the opportunity to at least see that. So this website, when you open it up on a phone, this tells you this shows you what it's going to look like. And that's, again, that's through Wix. That's where we have our WPS site through. Pages and menus. So if you can go into a different page, there's the about page. And it's pretty simple. If I go in here, I'm sure if you guys read that, you'd find, Beth probably would find me a typo very quickly. I could change that. I change the typo, I hit publish, and it's done. It resets it to the website immediately. And it's not bad. It's really, for a basic website and multiple pages, it's pretty good for that. So anyhow, I figured while Beth was talking about websites, I'd at least show you those couple there. All right, let me stop share. All right, I'm back. So Jim, I heard Jim Black. I'm sorry, I got two Jims now. I'm gonna have to use your first and last name.
Jim
I
Black,
heard
call
you
me,
say that-
you can call me Two Bellies.
Two Bellies.
That's what my Native American friends call me.
Okay. Well, Two Bellies. I heard you mention that you do your own galleries and stuff like that. I'm assuming you have your own website then?
I do have my own website. If I knew how to show it to, how could I do it? Oh, what do I do? Go to share screen?
Go to share screen.
Okay. And
click
then
share screen.
let's see, what do I do next? I gotta find the thing. Well, I'll show you the kind of pictures I have. Maybe this will show. There. Does that show?
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, the color is a little off. I'm not sure why. Those yellow dust should be a more whitish.
Well, that's Zoom isn't the best for photography.
Oh, okay.
We'll put it that way.
I'd show you my site, but I'm not sure how to get over to that. I'm not a Zoom person, quite frankly.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. I guess I lost it. Where would I type that in?
If you open a browser with your site on it, and then you can just share your screen in that browser, it'll show your whole.
Let's see where we are here. Hold on.
Or if you want, just tell me what the name of it is, and I'll bring the site up.
Okay, it's up now. Can you see it or not?
No.
Okay.
You've got to share again.
So go ahead and share the screen again now, Jim.
I can't find a share button now because this site covers everything up.
All right. What's the name of the site? I'll pull it up here and share it for you.
JamesBlackPhotography.com.
Okay.
I guess I can close this window out.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Let me find it for you.
Yeah, I'll have to learn the Zoom business better.
Let's start out with something from Bryce National Park. Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like it bounces a little bit. All right. Let me
Yeah,
pull that.
the first, there's about 5 slides that show, but on the left-hand side, there's galleries.
Okay. You guys should see his site right now.
Yep.
You want me to click on galleries there, Jim?
Yeah, you can go to galleries and then you
Alright.
can pick whichever one you want.
I
Now,
can
this
see it.
is also a WordPress site.
I was going to say this is WordPress. Okay.
Yes, it is.
It all looks fine from here. I can see the whole thing.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
What do you
because
guys want me to click?
that's,
Let's pick something. Let's take a look at a couple of some of Jim's pictures here while we got him up.
Well, you can go colorblind for all black and white.
Oh, let's
always good.
we're gonna go there. Sorry, all you colored people.
Just click
a
on one
few-
and-
Oh yeah, look at that. There we go.
That's the Badlands, the first snow of the year.
All right. We got Dennis on here. Dennis is almost exclusively black and white as well.
That's Devil's Tower.
Yes,
Yep.
I started out with black and white and then switched over color and now I'm back to black and white. Pretty much.
That's Devil's Tower.
That's over at Bryce. This one here.
Wow.
So is this a plugin for the galleries or is this just native WordPress?
It's part of word processing. I create my own galleries. The site I use, they're called Site Design Works. They're out of California. And they have a bunch of templates that you can use. Once they get it up and running for it, then you can just populate it with your own galleries. For instance, when you go back, you'll see that there's I've even added a couple videos also. This is the Badlands here. And that's Grand Canyon.
Jim, are these your Nikons or are they film?
They're all Nikons.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Jim,
That's Arches National Park. That's called Double Arch.
Jim, do you set the camera to shoot in black and white or do you convert later?
No, I process it myself. Everything shot regular, and then I convert it.
What program do you use when you convert it?
Let's see. I get my filters confused. There's Nike. Oh, Silver Effects Pro.
Yeah,
Nick Silver Effects Pro. Okay.
And I also use Topaz filters. These are all Mormon Row here in Wyoming. Grand Tetons. That's Double Arch. That's in Arches National Park.
Very cool.
That one just reminded me of some kind of reptile face, and that's the hamburger, I call it.
Okay. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Let's bounce out of here. You said you got videos also in your gallery.
There's two videos. Go on your left. No, go over. Yeah,
I see
there.
videos. Yeah. Okay. So it
And
bounces.
then you can add music to them also.
Okay. All right. So we won't go through everything tonight, of course, but
No, that's fine.
James Black Photography, guys, check it out.
Thank you.
Spend some time on his site to go through it. That way we get to get an idea what Jim likes to take pictures of.
You're going to find it's rather eclectic. I got dinged one time in a competition because they said, well, I'm all over the place. I didn't concentrate on one area. But my view is if you see something that kind of strikes your brain, then you should take the picture.
I agree.
Yep.
Well, I'm definitely going to take a look through this. I will probably look at every photo you have on here tonight, or tomorrow while I'm pretending to
Have
work.
at it. I will
So-
tell you that the site looks a lot different when you see it on if you do it on a phone. If you do it on an iPad, it'll look like this. You do it on a phone, it looks entirely different.
Okay. All right.
I do like colorblind, the category.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that, guys. I'll put actually, let me throw that link. I'll just throw the link in chat for you guys too. That way you can just grab it real quick.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice presentation, Jim. Really nice.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely we'll look at that. I'm definitely going to spend a little bit of time on there and going through them pictures. So thank
A
you.
group like Site Design Works, yeah, their prices aren't too bad, but they're more than the ones that we had the presentation on.
Okay.
And then I
Yes.
wind up paying maybe $28 a month for it being hosted.
All right.
But I will tell you, I get good service from them if I have any problems. The guy will actually call me and we'll discuss the problem.
Okay. I've used several different places over the years to host my website and that. And I'm honestly at the end of this time with Zenfolio, when it comes time for it to be paid for again, I'm thinking of moving to I think SmugMug or what was the one you were talking about, Jim Murphy?
Squarespace.
Squarespace.
Mhm.
I've looked at both of those and maybe a little bit more towards Squarespace, but I think I'm going to switch from Zenfolio and go over to something different. So, all right. So I see we got Annie. She has joined us, and Marty has joined us. Before we go,
Time,
Hello.
Annie,
So-
it's about time.
Hello.
Well, when I got on here, Zoom decided it wanted to update before it would let me on.
yep. Marty, did you want to bring anything up about the shows, upcoming shows, or the new show that you have in the works now?
Sure.
I mentioned them, but I figured you would have more information than me.
I don't have a whole lot more probably. Greensburg Arts Center, I had messaged them, back the beginning of the year or the end of last year, not sure. But Rose called me last week about having a show there again. So we're scheduled like May, June time. I have to get with them and work out the particulars, but that's what we're planning on doing, Greensburg Art Center in the spring of next year. And we were thinking maybe a theme this time. And Laurel Highlands was suggested. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. Laurel Highlands were suggested because we all had some photos that weren't accepted at the museum that we could put into this show. But if anybody else would have any kind of other themes that they would like to see, just let me know and we'll take a vote on it and see what we want to do.
I like the idea of just do what you want to do instead of a theme.
Well, that's one vote that way. Margie.
Hello, Gracie baby.
Any. Okay, Margie, we have you down as any. We'll see what.
Yep.
All right. I also noticed, and it was in, I think Carl brought it up, but there's a show coming up in, is it October at Feathers
Oh, there. Oh, sorry.
or
So
Beans
we
and something?
have-
Or,
We have September, October at Beans and Brushes, and then in November it's at Feathers.
So Marty and I were talking, we're planning on just taking everything from Beans and Brushes straight over to Feathers. Instead of everybody having to submit other things for a separate show, since we already have things and they're in two entirely different towns. We thought it would be the easiest if between us, we would take the show down and take it over to Feathers.
Unless you want to put something different in Feathers, that's fine too. Just
Okay.
let me know.
I know we got a little bit of time on this here, but I just wanted to start getting people in the mindset of we have some shows coming up.
Yes,
So
we do. Sorry.
All right.
that's all right.
While we're in the process of talking about shows, when I was at the opening for the Art Nationals, I was talking to the executive director. We have been offered, I know we were offered a booth this year for the art to show out at the Arts and Heritage Festival. We have also been offered a free booth for next year. That is up to us. You know, that's something that we can discuss here since we actually have a year, because I was telling her that we appreciated her offer for this year, but it wasn't giving us enough time to get things together. But so she said to me, she said, we're also offering you, your group, a booth for next year. She said that should give you enough time. But again, I'm not sure how many people, you know, will be able to help participate to man the booth. This is something we're going to have to discuss and figure out what we want to do. But I want to put it out there that we have been given that offer again to participate at the Arts and Heritage Festival next year for free.
Okay. I think that's something that we need to explore relatively soon. If we're going to do that, then we need to get everyone on board with it early on that one. We've talked
Absolutely.
about it. We're either going to do it or we're never going to do it. So
Correct.
we'll get together with that as far as a officers meeting probably next month, and we'll go from there on that. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yes.
Sounds good to me. But I guess-
Just out of a show of hands, just as a quick survey, how many people would be interested in that and helping out? Because if we have a booth, it has to be covered the whole time the festival is going on.
right. We
You-
need a
you-
minimum of 2 people there at all times. So if somebody needs to go to the restroom, then somebody else is still in the booth.
You would have a booth to do what?
Well, that's the discussion that we'll have. The booth can be, and we've talked about this in the past, and I'll just briefly do this. I don't want to get too far into it, but the booth can be used for whatever we want, basically. So if we wanted to just advertise that we exist, we can do that. If we wanted to put members' work there for sale, we can do that. So that's kind of what we'll discuss as far as how we want to approach this. And then go from there is kind of what we've talked about in the past on this. Some members would like to sell their work there or at least put it up. So I think it's kind of, we'll kind of put it to a vote and see who wants to do what and go from there. And if we get enough people that's interested in putting some prints there, putting them up for sale, we'll go that way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have options. I mean, it can be as simple as putting our sign up, putting the Westmoreland photographer sign up and some information about the club, and that's it. But I personally would rather see us put some stuff up for sale and have something more than just our sign up, basically. So
We could always do those calendars that we keep talking about.
yeah, there's a few things we can do for that. So we'll have a meeting sometime between now and next month, and the officers kind of put some ideas out there, and then we'll present it to the rest of the group and see what they want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else from you guys as far as
Yeah.
business or anything like that? You're good?
We're good.
Annie, anything?
No, that was the only thing that I had.
All right. I wanted to, since you guys are here now, I wanted to jump back on and grab that little bit of information for everybody. All right. So let me find it now, because I now have 25 tabs open on my websites. We got 2 videos that were submitted. We're going to watch these guys a little bit. We're going to watch, I think they're both relatively, one's 8 minutes, the other one's 6 minutes, I believe. Yeah, we got them time for that. Okay, so the first one, the title is The Biggest Thing to Ever Happen in Photoshop. And this is Photoshop Cafe. And it doesn't say to me who is the speaker here, so we'll just watch it and see. And of course, we all know what it's going to be about. It's about generative fill. I think that's the word I want to use. So that's if you have opened anything about photography in the last few weeks, you've noticed this about Photoshop, because everyone is talking about this. Every video on YouTube, if you type in Photoshop, 90% of the videos that are listed in the last 2 weeks are about this. So let's watch this one.
It's by Colin Smith.
Colin Smith?
Yes.
Okay. So let's watch this one. I'll put the links in the chat here before the end of the meeting too, so you have them to watch as well. But let's watch this one and see what it says. Let me set this up. Share sound, optimize video clip. We're good there. And you guys see YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hit play.
Yes.
Let's go full screen. Let me hit play and we'll watch this video.
What the? Right now, with no hype, this is the craziest thing I have ever seen in Photoshop. Let's start with something not as crazy, and we're going to go down the rabbit hole from here. How many times have you shot a photograph and then afterwards you realize, hey, I wish I'd gone a little bit wider? Watch this. I'm going to grab the crop tool. Let's drag it out, make it a little bit bigger. Let's make a selection. And I'm just going to hit generative fill. Hit generate. And Adobe Sensei used AI to build the rest of this image. In fact, you've got 3 variations. If you don't like that, you can just click on the variations down the bottom here. We can look at different options. I like option 2. You can also see them in the properties panel. Another quick example. With the lasso tool, make a quick selection, hit generative fill, and why don't we put in a red t-shirt? And here's some options. Right, let me explain this to you, but first of all, let me tell you how to get it for yourself starting today. And if you're getting any value out of this video, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. You won't miss any of my videos. So go to your Creative Cloud. Make sure you have a valid Creative Cloud account and sign in. Go to Updates. Choose Check for Updates. This will ping the server. Make sure you get the very latest version. And then go under Beta Apps. I've already installed mine, but you'll see an install like this. Click Install. If you've previously installed the beta, click Update here. And you should be on Photoshop version 24.6.0. And make sure you have a current subscription. If you have CS6, this won't work, I'm sorry. All right, let's replace the background. So we're going to grab a lasso tool, and we're going to make a rough selection around that background. I'm making a really rough selection just to show you how well this works. In fact, you don't want it too tight. You want to give it some room. Now we're going to hit Generative Fill. And why don't we put in City? Hit Generate. And we actually get 3 options here. So there's one city. There's another option. There's a third option. Let's change it to City at Night. All right, let me show you what's happening. Each time we regenerate or change the prompt, it creates 3 more images. I think this one's kind of cool. I like this one the best. But notice at any time you can go to any of these other ones. Notice everything's created on a layer. This is our generated layer, and of course we can hide it at any time, turn it back on. We can stack these. What if we want to get rid of our woman or replace her with something different? Let's just make a selection around here. And why don't we replace her? We're going to hit Generative Fill. We're going to replace her with a satellite dish. If I just wanted to remove her, I would not put anything under the prompt and just hit Generate. And look at that. Replaces her with a satellite dish. Here's a picture of a woman. This is not the image I started with. This is the image I started with. Let's give her some jeans instead of the skirt. Let's dress her down a little bit. Hit Generative Fill. Type in jeans. Let's look at variations. We can either hit them here or click on the thumbnails here. I think I like that variation the best. So it's not just clipping a part out of an image and pasting it in. These are brand new images that never existed before. Let me show you. Why don't we change this jacket to plaid shirt? All right, so we've got a rough selection around here. Let's change Generative Fill. Let's change this to a plaid shirt. And look at that. If we want to look at variations, just click the little arrow here. And some of the results you get here are not always perfect. Say, for example, you know, her wrists are looking a little bit skinny and a little bit weird up here. Of course, you can always hit Generate again, and it will create 3 more. Let me drag out the properties. You can see these are the 3 new ones. And you can see all the variations are available, including the previous ones. But we could change this to something else. All right, there's one version. This one's looking pretty realistic. I mean, look at the arms and the shirt. Look how it's even made the area for the sleeves and everything. And if you don't want her hair to go long, just put in short hair. All right, well, it looks like it fixed her hair, but it's given us a jean jacket, so sometimes this gets a little funky like this. And it's just generated those literally out of nothing. Now, these are all on layers, so you can go through and you can access the other layers, so we can do masking and different things like that. Let's look at one more example. So let's grab our crop tool. Let's extend this. So we're going to drag it off. Now we want to extend the street. So let's grab the rectangular marquee tool. Hit Generative Fill. And remember, if you just want to extend and you don't want to add anything, don't fill out any prompts here and just hit Generate. And look at that. That's pretty amazing if you ask me. We've got 2 variations here. We've got this variation and this variation. Why don't we go with that? That's kind of an interesting variation. All right, we want to add some life into this street. Make a selection here. Set a dog. And look at that. We've got a couple more dogs. Why don't we keep this dog? Now, if I want to create another dog next to it, I can literally go in and I can grab that layer with the generated layer. I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key and I'm going to copy it. So now I've got a second one. And what happens is the prompt will travel with that layer. So if I want to generate a different dog now, I just hit Generate. The other one is still untouched, and you can see there's the generative layer. You can tell by the icon. And now we're generating a different dog for the second position. And now we've got a completely different dogs. Let's create another one. I'm going to make this one taller, so maybe we'll get a dog that's standing. If the dog's looking too big, hit Control T for free transform. And I'm just going to make it a little smaller. Hit Enter and regenerate, and we'll get a different dog that's a little bit smaller. There's the variations. Let's grab one of these sitting dogs. I'm going to hit the Alt or the Option. I'm going to drag it over here and see if we can sit the dog on top of there. Let's hit Generate. And look at that. Let's look at different variations of it. And see how they just fit right in. Oh, there's a Shiba Inu. That's cool. And look how they just fit right in there. So where are these images coming from? So these images have never existed before. They're actually being generated by the AI. So what the AI is doing is it's actually looking at the image and analyzing and knowing what it is. Now, Adobe didn't just start with this last week. Adobe's actually been developing Adobe Sensei for 10 years. So it's actually had a little bit of training already on all the selections and different things that we've been doing throughout the years with the Sensei tools. So it's looking at all the photographs inside of Adobe stock, and then it's taking what it's learning and then it's recreating these images or these parts of images from nothing. So it's creating images that never existed before. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty amazing. Let me know your thoughts underneath. Now, I'm going to do a series on here where I'm going to go more in depth and I'm going to show you more of the features and more things you can do. This is kind of an introduction.
Okay, guys. We're going to stop. We'll bring the other video up here in a minute. What are your thoughts?
Unbelievable.
That's pretty
Marky,
cool.
are you the one that sent that one? Or was that Rex?
No, no, mine is a little bit drier than that.
Okay.
Probably not as long. It goes very fast, and it's exclusively focused on
Denoising.
denoising, yeah.
Okay.
NR, noise reduction.
So Margie's the one that
can-
sent that, and I know why Margie sent that because it had dogs in it.
Yeah. It just shows you what AI is doing. It almost makes me feel less of a photographer. It's like we're being
Right.
taken over.
Well,
And I just don't
Yeah.
like it.
What led me to this particular video is one of the images I just put up on Reddit was a bridge that I photographed when we were in the canal going through the Panama Canal. And I saw that using the noise reduction and denoise was extremely long on my computer, but I gave it a shot. And after I saw what I saw, I thought, wow, if you have an image that you really like, and unfortunately you had to take it with a high ISO and it was grainy, spend the time if you like the image that much. And that's what I did. And I was very pleased. So when I put it up, I put up the original unedited image, and then right beside it, I put the denoise image. And that brought me to the video about which comes first. Should I do all of my editing and maybe put it in auto and do that and then see what denoise does, or do denoise and then start the other things? And he describes what to do. That's why we'll watch the video, because I certainly can't be as coherent as he is in how to use it.
All right, guys, with that intro, let's watch the second video here, and then we'll discuss both of them. So let me get in here, go back to share. You should see a black screen.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
in the right spot. Here we go. Hopefully.
Thinking about it.
It's thinking about it, yeah.
Finally, Adobe's done it. A term I don't like to use very often, but for this situation, game changing. Check out this new AI noise reduction that they've just put into Camera Raw and Lightroom. All right, here's an image that's going to show this really well. Shot it last week in Hawaii. What we're going to do is just going to crop in here. Now, this is shot at ISO 5000, so it's a pretty high ISO for the Sony A1, which is a very large sensor. All right, let's just crop in a little bit closer. And yes, there's sensor dust and a crooked horizon. Don't care about that. We just want to look at the noise. I'm in the develop module right now. Look at the shadows, all plugged up. No problem, plenty of dynamic range. I can open it up by opening up the shadows here. But when I zoom in, look at the noise. Now, this is something you could try to fix using the noise reduction. But let me jump in. I'm going to show you this new feature, then I'll give you the caveats, and then we'll look at the comparison between this and standard noise reduction. Okay, we open up the shadows. We see all this noise and all kinds of issues in here. So you've got two ways you can access it. You can either right-click and choose Enhance, or we can scroll down. And under Noise Reduction, you're going to see an option here that says Denoise. If you're in Camera Raw, this is where it is. Now, let's click Denoise. What it's going to do is it's going to bring up this enhanced preview. And if you recognize this dialog box, this is the same one we use for super resolution. So this is using AI power. Now you can adjust the amount of denoise. I'm just going to keep it around about the middle. I'm going to click Enhance. So what it's doing right now is it's creating a new DNG file that's going to sit next to the original image. So we'll talk about caveats, limitations, just a moment. Okay, let's have a look at this. If you remember what this photograph looked like before, I zoom in, look at this. Tell me that is not mind-blowing. All right, let's talk about what the limitations are, recommendations, and then I'll compare it with the original noise reduction. And there's one other thing that it can do, which it's not really being advertised, but it's amazing. So it only works on Bayer RAW files, which are the ones directly out of your camera. So that means the images you might have saved as DNGs may not work at this particular time. And Adobe said, they're going to expand it to work on other file types. So eventually, hopefully, it's going to work on JPEGs and TIFFs as well. Another limitation is it has to create a new image right now. Another thing that Adobe said in the future, they're hoping to have it where it can actually just enhance the original image. So if you want to use denoise and super resolution, you can't use them both on the same image. You can't apply it twice, so you've got to choose one or the other. Now, where should you apply this in the workflow? So Adobe's recommending that you put it in at the very beginning of the workflow. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is they're saying, hey, it's good to work on a clean file. But the other thing is if you're working on things like masks and different types of adjustments, even the spot tool, because everything's non-destructive inside of Lightroom and Camera Raw, that means that when you apply this adjustment, that adjustment is also going to update on all the spots and the masks and other areas that you've used. So number one, it could take longer to apply it. And then number two, some colors and things could shift. So if you have a noisy image, maybe do some basic adjustments, but then apply it pretty early on in the process before you do any masking or any localized work. All right, let's compare it to the original noise reduction because there's a couple of things that are really important for you to see here. All right, so if you remember, here's the original version of it, where it was just too dark. And then we cranked up the exposure, the shadows, and maybe even bring back the highlights to recover it. So we're bringing the tones out here, but if you remember, very, very noisy. Okay, if we want to access the manual noise reduction, it's still in here. Go into the detail, and instead of choosing noise reduction, choose manual noise reduction. Let's zoom into 100% by clicking and just setting it. Now, if the color noise was turned off, you would see all these speckles. So the first thing we do is just bring that until we even out the colors. Still got a lot of issues with the grain. We can increase the luminance. Notice here the colors are still very patchy, but we're getting rid of a lot of the grain. We can see the texture here. We can still see a lot of grain and noise in the image. And looking at the ground here, you can see, yeah, there's a lot of issues. Now let's go to the one that we applied the denoise. If we zoom in, look how clean it is now. There's still a little bit of speckles in here, but you've got to remember what we started with. But if we look at the texture on the side there, it's beautiful. We're not losing detail. We're not softening the image. Same with the ground here. And even when we look out over here into some of the areas that are going out of focus, you can see the details are still there. So a lot of the time when you apply manual noise reduction, you're going to really soften the image. But this is just not happening here. I did mention one not so well-known benefit, and that is with moires. When you see textures and you get up close, you'll see these moire patterns in here. I noticed, look at this, it fixed the moire perfectly. All right, so we can see it's applied. You can see this little star icon. Now we can apply it to multiple images at once. All we need to do is click, hold down the shift key, and click again. So we've selected these 4. If I wanted to apply it to all 4, I could hit denoise, then put the settings in. The other option is if I just hold down the shift key and click on denoise, it will apply it to all 4 of those images automatically in what's known as headless mode without bringing up any other settings. If I'm in camera raw, I held down the Alt or the Option key to apply it to more than one at a time. So I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know in the comments underneath. And if you're new here to the cafe, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. You won't miss any of my videos. If you got
You know, I do want to say that I've watched Colin Smith and I've got him actually in my library. And it's actually Photoshop Cafe. It's a good thing to go through all his videos. He's really quite good. He's one of my favorite on YouTube.
Well, he answered, he just tore through that. And I need people to talk slower at my age. But he did answer some of the questions about order of events. And a couple, I felt like, yeah, it's okay to do some basic editing, but not of the real fine stuff, including masking and things like that. Because when you set denoise to work on it, it's going to make changes to it, which you heard him say. It'll even change color. So minimize the editing at the beginning and do the denoise on those high ISO items that you want, because on my machine, it takes a long time to do it. So it's an investment in time to get it done. Of course, it's an image I want. Yeah.
What's a long time?
Oh, 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, that's some of them longer than that.
Wow.
For one image.
Yeah, for me. Now, I'm using a 14-year-old Dell XPS 16, and it does have it was souped up. We had somebody put an SSD drive in it, and it's hot all the time. But I've been able to keep up with the latest LRC and not the very latest Photoshop, but I'm at 22.4 or something like that. So yeah, I'm probably going to be in the market for a new computer simply to keep up with technology. But for now, like I said, I'm only using it on images that I really care about. The rest, I'll just use the sliders and the panels.
I'd like to make a comment on that. I was shooting a lot of ballet for a ballet school, and we were shooting at about ISO 5000.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using, Nike denoise AI, and I think I was taking maybe a minute on an
Nick?
image. Yeah. But again, I've got a little bit faster processor than yours, I think.
No, this is as old as they come. Yeah. It's like taking a Model T and putting a modern V6 or V8 in it, But I thought you would enjoy having the learning about the order of events that can be important to the quality of your picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Rex.
Okay, Marge.
JB, Jim Black. I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you have Topaz. Is it just the Topaz, the newest AIs, or do you have the other older HDR, blah, blah, blah Topaz kits?
I actually have both. Sometimes I just can't get rid of software.
Well, I don't like the new Topaz that they have out, the AI, but I do like the older the software. that
I
they
do like
have.
their sharpening and their denoise.
I
Those
do
are the
too.
two I use.
Yeah.
I like particularly the sharpening. It also gives
Yes,
you
it
some
does.
denoising.
Well,
The
yeah,
sharpener does a very good job.
Yeah.
yeah, it does, but I still would like some of the other software that they had, but I can't get anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
The problem is that you need to have a current setup, a subscription with them in order to download any of their stuff. And once they drop it, you can't find it on the website. I don't think anybody else's software will work because I have it also.
Can you say that again? I can't hear you.
If you have an account with them, you can go back if you have used the old stuff. You can call up the old stuff.
You can. Okay, that's very good to know.
Give it a try. I had to do some searching, but I found some of the older programs.
Okay, because some of the older programs is what I'm after.
Yeah.
What software are we
Thank
talking
you.
about?
Topaz.
Oh, never mind.
I just did that. I just opened up Lightroom and did a denoise on a picture. Absolutely amazing.
How long?
While you guys were talking about Topaz.
So it's pretty fast with your computer.
Yeah,
But don't you have a new M1
yeah, my
in your laptop?
yeah.
Should be fast.
You guys see Lightroom?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I don't know how well you can see this. This is it. This is a picture I took inside Heinz History Center. I knew it would have noise in it because it was a higher ISO picture. 1000 ISO.
Go up to about 200%. Take a look at it. That's good.
That's at 100. Let's see
Mhm.
here.
Yeah, that's all you need is 100%.
There's 200. You can see it pretty well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
100 is all you need.
Well, 200 is the acid test, really, because when you decide you're going to make a 30 by 40 of it, that's approximately where you're going, is like 200%.
Wow.
All right, so that's the 200% of the original picture. There's the
Looks
denoise
good.
picture.
Mm.
Oh, that looks great.
Oh, that looks good. Okay, I
Yeah.
see the difference now.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and I didn't fold. I just hit denoise and whatever it set it at, I hit yes. And because it looks like you can adjust the amount of denoise, but, really,
That's before
this is
before applying it.
Yeah, this is the original picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's the denoise version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go back.
There's no doubt about it. That's 200%. And what was the ISO?
1000 ISO.
Wow. See,
Now do the denoise.
that's it. That's it. Well,
There's the denoise.
that's before.
That's the denoised. That's the
after.
finished. This is the original here. You can definitely see the noise in the headlight is, in the fender here.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are no adjustments or anything to these pictures. They are what they are. There's just the denoise version of it. No.
They're smoother.
Yep. Definitely, definitely took the noise out. No question about that.
Yep.
So I didn't even know that was in there. So thanks for sharing that video. I'll have to remember that button is in there now. In the chat, guys, I posted the video or the links to the videos to the 2 videos, and it looks like Beth wrote up a couple of articles to building websites. She threw it on here. There's 2 different ones. I'll post them on in the YouTube video when I post the YouTube video too, guys. How many of you guys go back up? Excuse me, I'm dying.
What was the question?
Hold on a second, I'm dying.
While you're dying, Dennis,
Yes, ma'am.
this month you have tips and tricks, just a
End of the
reminder.
month. Right?
I'm sorry, what?
Last Thursday in the month.
Mm-hmm, SWIG meeting.
Okay.
Tim Black, are
Yes.
you from Washington DC, or are you simply from DC on your computer tonight?
No, I'm just outside of Washington, D.C., in Vienna, Virginia.
Okay, so you're living there permanently. You aren't one of us.
I've lived here, and actually this year and this month, I lived in this house 40 years.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause we're not going to mention the amount of overseas time we've done together, huh?
I was a piker. I didn't have a lot of overseas time. I only
Oh.
lived out of the country 10 years.
Okay, you got away with it.
Absolutely.
No, the question I had was, how many of you guys actually go and look at the YouTube videos, the posted videos of our meetings?
Oh,
You guys are
I have.
okay.
I have.
If
It
I miss
depends.
the meeting, Brian, I'll typically try to go back and watch.
Oh, yeah, me
Okay.
too.
All right, because
Yeah, I tried
the
to
reason
find
I
the ones
ask is
I missed.
the reason I ask is because quite a few people actually watch our meetings, believe it or not. Or at least go and check them out for a little bit. They may not watch the full 2-hour video, but so I was just wondering how many of them is us and how many of them is actually just other people. So cool. I mean, it's good to see some people are checking them out and you guys are using them. And if other people are checking them out, good. Annie, you have a dog on your lap.
I do.
That.
This is Izzy. I am doggy sitting and kitty feeding and bird feeding for the week.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't know why I just noticed the dog. I'm like, wait,
Oh,
there's a
no.
dog.
Well, she's been sitting here sleeping on my arm, and she's only 8 pounds, so she's a little bugger. But she's my buddy. She belongs to my neighbor, and every year when they go to the Outer Banks, Annie watches her for the week, and other times during the year a little bit here and there. But yeah, she's my buddy.
All right.
As you can tell, she's real, anxious to get away from me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did she?
All right. Hey, Margie.
Yes.
Would you be interested in doing any critiquing? We got a little bit of time left.
Sure.
I usually can talk you right into that.
Yeah, let me,
You twisted her arm.
Get me
So
time.
Jim, we have a Reddit page that's private and we post photos and stuff on there. We have little photo contests and different things in that Reddit page. So that's what Margie's going to bring up is some of those photos. So every chance we get, if we have a little bit of free time in our meeting, we go back and critique some of those photos.
All right.
Yep. Brian,
So that's what we're going to do now.
hey, Brian,
Sounds good.
Brian,
Yeah.
when you get a chance, maybe you can help Jim get signed on to Reddit.
Okay.
Y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Let me just get this out of the way. Hold on. Okay. Stupid Reddit just irritates me. Well, half the time it's got the black background, the other half of the time it does not.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a white background. I think that was last
I'm
time.
down in there. Whoa. Okay.
And see what it does. Doesn't even do it right.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you're looking at the unedited version.
Okay.
There's two of them there.
Hold on, let me.
You do.
Somehow you got my site there.
No, I know. I'm just trying to get out of this stuff and y'all just continue to talk while I.
Okay.
Is anybody gonna go to the air show this weekend?
I didn't even know it was this weekend.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to pull out a couple chairs and get some. Oh, yeah, and anybody that would like to come over. How about it, Dennis?
We're working on it.
Okay.
We have grandsons.
Oh, well, if they can come. There we go.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for, just like this. So,
Mhm.
okay. Excuse
Well, the
me.
first thing I want to say is that is surely a different picture than the first one you were showing. So I'm glad that you have the edited version there for us to look at, Rex.
Yeah, and this is also the first one that I seriously used the denoise noise reduction on. I thought that it was worth the time that it took.
Yeah, it's a very interesting
Yeah,
picture. I
really.
like the picture.
Yeah.
See the detail in the roadbed.
Well, we were on our balcony on the ship, rolling under it, and we were going slow enough that I was able to get a good shot. And the clouds really happened to be nice. That's not a inserted background. That was the real background.
Mhm.
You can see the original file.
Where's that bridge at?
That is it's called, it's on the list there. I think it's called the American Highway Panama Bridge. It's a simple name. It's up above there somewhere in the
I'll have to go back to get it.
well, that's all right, but you'll be able to see the name of it. But it's a bridge over the Panama
Atlantic
Canal.
Bridge. Yeah, Atlantic Bridge.
The Atlantic Bridge, Panama.
Yeah.
There's three of them, and that is that's the newest bridge that's just been built. So that's when you go from the Atlantic side to go into the canal. That is the first bridge that you go under.
This
And
is
there's
the new canal.
Hmm?
This is the new canal.
This is the entrance before you actually get to the locks. This is before the locks. So there's all ships going in and out, freighters, cruise ships, all will be going in and out under this one, left and right, coming at you and going away, both ways. Yeah. It's not until later in the trip that you actually get to the locks, which I photographed the sequence there too. But this was just the first big thing that we saw that we were approaching. And I took some pictures before we got to it, but I thought this one seemed to fit the best for what I wanted to show.
Okay, let's critique it.
Hmm.
Image and focus.
Yes.
Yep.
How is the contrast?
Think it could be turned up a little bit. I like the composition. I like the way the bridge is going from the top corner all the way down through the middle throwing your eye into it.
I sort of like the contrast. I think it looks pretty good.
Well,
In my opinion,
might be my computer, but I'm just.
yeah. Composition,
So I said I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Brian, take over for a second.
Okay. Sorry, I'm eating a combo.
I like the lighting. I like the leading lines. I don't mind the contrast. It looks nice. Overall, I like the picture.
I looked at it. I bounced off of Margie's screen and went to my screen and opened it up, and it's good. Yeah, I mean, it's a good sharp picture. I know you use the denoise on it. I like the composition of it. The leading line bringing you right across that, in from the top and across. We always talk about triangles. Well, they built one there for you to look at. So you got lots of triangles and things like that keep your interest in there, and all the wires off of that bridge, the suspension part of the bridge, are just, they're right there. They're pretty good. They're nice and sharp. Color wise, I think the color's great. I'm looking at it on my laptop. It's pretty good. Composition wise, contrast. I think you got her pretty well. I don't know that I could find anything that, I was going to say you had some dirt on it there that needed cleaned up, but then I moved my screen with my finger and it went away. So I don't know there's anything you could do to change this one, or make it any better. I think it's good. I really do.
I have to agree with Brian. I like everything about it. The composition, the color.
On top of that, he took it while moving on a boat. So I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, that's good.
Rex, did you perchance look at the verticalness of this shot?
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out what straight was, and I used a couple of things. If you look at the land at the bottom, I was satisfied that if you look at the here at the bottom of it, where that last spansion is almost out in the water, that was level. When I took the picture, I was trying to be careful to keep it level, and I may have done a little more leveling of it, but I didn't do any kind of transform or anything like that. It was minimal that was done. The thing to compare it to is, if you could put it right beside its unedited version, you could see what came out of the camera and what wound up on the screen here. That it looked, I had it looking as straight as I thought it could look. There's the things that you have to contend with are the leading lines, and there are many of them, including the cables that go from the various parts of the support piece to the bridge road itself. So there's very little that you can actually say, well, this should be level. At most, if you looked at halfway up that closest spansion and used the part where the road is attached, where the weight-bearing concrete is holding up the road, that would be one place to look for straight, and the other one is straight down from that where the water is, where the pier and the water is. You'd have, if you could lift that up and take a look at that, or magnify it and look at it, if you were looking for absolute straight. And I'd say if you tried to measure from the bottom of the frame on either end of the pier itself that the spansion is on, that it should be the same.
Yeah, it's straight. I was looking on my phone and I was looking across the bottom there, You have that about as straight as you're gonna get it.
Also,
Everything's straight on that.
I wouldn't normally say look at the dirt, but if you take a look at the V that's underneath the support of the road and look at the drain where the water drains down, water drains straight down. And if you draw a line straight down from where the water marks are, it's straight.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
Rex, my comment on this is when I look at the photo, there's nothing there that looks crooked to me. So I'm not even sure it's necessary to go into the detail that some are suggesting. Does the photo look good?
Yeah.
And I think the answer is yes. There's
Yeah.
nothing that looks like there's a lean to the bridge.
Mm-mm.
no, I think it's dead on.
No, there's no lean.
Okay.
It depends on how one looks at it.
Well, I was happy with it.
Nice.
I'm not criticizing, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It
No.
just, to my eyes, looks like it's got a slight tilt to the right.
Well, I only just now saw something that is a Brian. You might have to go back and look at it, and I'm sure you'll figure out what it is as soon as you look at it. All right, well, we never mind, next time.
This is Bess. Once again, you can see DL, how it has changed from what I wanted to change from the black background to the white. And this is what I'm going through with Reddick ever since I upgraded it.
It's okay.
You know, I have a thought here.
Yes.
Mine showed up with a black background because I have told Reddit, put everything in a black background. We might have to check and see what Beth has chosen for Reddit.
I really don't know if that's it or not, because I've never had this problem until last month when I upgraded it.
Anyway,
Can you set it for dark?
I don't know how to go about doing it while I'm in this part of it without getting into my profile or my settings. So anyway,
Okay.
this is Bess.
I really like this photo. I like that she has the ball floating. It almost looks like a bubble. So, and I like that she turned it upside right so I could see the tree.
Yeah. I do like the background.
And I'm not sure actually if the background is the same spot. I don't think it is.
I don't think it matters at this point.
No, it really doesn't.
I mean, you can tell that it's still the woods. So I don't think it really matters if it's the same or not.
Okay. Because this started from two different ideas that I kind of merged. Because in Stony Brook, their end of the year challenge this year was a women versus men thing. So people signed up if they wanted to, and then they did a drawing, and each woman was paired with a guy and then given a category. And I got forest. And so I was trying to come up with something cool that would be eye-catching. And this isn't the one that I ended up submitting. I just went with a standard shot, actually, that did not win, but overall, guys.
You should have entered this one.
I know. I'm kind of thinking I should have, but it also came from an idea that I saw on a Facebook group that somebody had done multiple lens balls, but they were all the same, but in different spots and different sizes.
Right.
And I was sort of thinking of doing that, but what I really want is to have ferns on the bottom.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But they weren't up yet.
Yeah. I think the bokeh in the back is bokeh enough. I don't even know how to say that.
You did okay. Yeah.
Where it's just a cut of the forest. So it could be that middle tree in your lens ball, but I mean, I think it works. I like it.
Beth,
I like,
You know me, I like trees anyways.
And I like things that are different, so,
like
outside the
how-
box stuff.
Beth, I don't
Yeah.
recall who suggested it, but I agree with the comment that you got earlier on this is I think I would like it as a square crop.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think,
do too.
Yeah,
yeah.
And fill in the frame a little more.
I think I tried it as a square and I need to move the globe to the right a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yes, that's what I was going to comment on. It is off by just enough to where it is completely aggravating me.
Yeah.
It's left just a little bit from center.
It's too
Yeah.
high as well.
Yeah.
Move it this away.
Yeah, it needs to go to the right a
Right.
little bit if you're going to leave the crop alone. Otherwise, like they said, square crop it, but get it centered.
Yeah.
The other thing I would do, when I looked at this picture earlier, I think I would want the ball to be between the two trees in the background.
Yeah, that's what I mean
That's a
about
good
moving it
idea.
to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way it's not
Mhm.
cutting off. I don't know. It just, to me, I kept looking at it thinking, man, I think I'd like that a lot better if it was between the two trees.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Just
it needs to drop down a little bit too. It's too,
Yeah.
if you're gonna square it, besides the right side being a little bit more than the left, the bottom's more than the top.
Yes, it is.
But I do like it, and your blending of your layers and everything is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Good. Definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah. The toughest part is getting the angle right on the lens ball so that you can then get the holder and stuff out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was shooting it with it sitting on my one tripod and shooting it from my other tripod.
Drink my flower.
This,
That one. Yeah.
white background again.
Yeah.
I like the composition of it. I would like to have it a little, not as dark.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'd
It's a
lighten
little
up
bit
those
too
light
dark.
areas of the petals.
Yes,
Okay.
bring it out of the shadows a little bit.
All right. Other than that, does it work as a black and white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a couple adjustments to it.
You know, I think you could experiment a little bit with the crop. There's a lot of black in the top.
Yeah, right here.
Whether you could 4x5 maybe.
Okay.
It's just a thought. I mean, I would experiment with that and see what you see. There's that
Maybe-
light portion in the center. There's two flowers are kind of the focal point.
Yeah.
But it's neat.
And like I said, because of this crazy thing, I can't bring it to the size that I want to bring it to. Maybe DL can help me on this, or Ryan, so we don't go through this again.
I don't know. Whenever I have it on my screen, if I click on it to enlarge it, it enlarges hugely. So
Yeah, and it shouldn't do that. It shouldn't do like this.
no, it depends on the size of the file whenever she uploaded it, because
Yeah.
some of them will enlarge really big and some will not.
I don't have that problem before. It
No.
was, I can enlarge it after the third click would be that large. The second click would take up a nice portion. but I
Well,
have not had this kind of problem.
that's not the way it's working for me, dear. I'm doing it right now on my own screen. So
Yeah.
it is
Well, you-
it's doing exactly what yours is doing, other than I have a black background.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow,
All right. Let's see here. We got Linda's. We've already got Annie's. We've got here. Let's do this one. Where was this taken?
It's on the Blue Ridge Parkway, I believe in Virginia. It's called Marby Mills. It's like the most photographed spot on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It was cool.
Yeah, I really do like this, and I like the color of the roadie up front, even though, you know, the flowers are a little bit faded. But the subject itself is great. Makes me actually want to be there. Without the dogs would be in the water.
I think it is the winner for the month, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Rhodey's just
Oh.
finished blooming. How could that be for the winter? It doesn't look like the winter. Look at all
No, the winner.
Winner.
the winner.
Winner.
Thank you. Yes, this was the winner.
Cool. Oh, I did not know that.
It got 2 votes.
I'll take it.
Yeah. But I do like the
It made me want to be there also.
Sorry.
Hey, Rebecca,
Yeah.
was there any way that maybe you could have moved to the left a little bit and got a little bit more of the mill itself and a little less of the flowers?
I probably have one where I moved around. I probably do have one a little farther up to the left.
I was just wondering, me personally, I think I would have liked it had you a little less flower, a little more building.
Okay.
Just my
What was
personal opinion.
behind the flowers?
Yeah, I probably have one like that. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I do.
one that's about where she's doing
Yeah,
that.
right here.
Yeah, off to the side, where the flowers are off to the side a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have one like that.
By the same token, having the flowers, the plant where they are, there's no question in my mind that the focus of the photo, I mean, it's the building itself, but the water wheel.
Right.
And the rhododendron on the right kind of forces your eye to the water wheel.
Well, it still would if she would have moved over a little bit. I'm not saying get rid of it altogether. I'm just saying another step to the left, would have got a little bit more of the water wheel. You still got the tree and just a little less of the flowers. That's all.
What was behind the flowers?
I don't think it was much. I don't think it was a really exciting part of the building by any means. I think it was literally just a plain wall. I don't think there was much there.
Oh, okay.
You're not missing
This
anything.
actually makes
Yeah, I was just wondering because I mean I see the piece that comes over that the water would drop off of,
Mhm.
drop off of, would be running off of to turn the wheel. But I didn't know if there, what else was there. I'm not talking about taking, going over like 3 feet. I'm talking only 1 or 2 feet.
I would not necessarily like to see them further left or further right or anything like that. I'd like to see the flowers just a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Just a hair, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Bring that purple out of them flowers just a wee little bit. And then let them kind of, just to kind of get them kind of almost on the same luminance as the water wheel and stuff like that. Not quite the same, but almost just a little bit more. Kind of like the flower on the wall that comes down, or up a little bit. Right there. Bring them up a little bit like that one there. If you bring the ones above that up, and in brightness, I think they would work a little bit better.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah. The other thing you might do is on the left side of the building, that little green patch is a little bright. Up higher, right on the left of the building, right there.
Yeah.
You might tone that down just a little bit.
Do you have a
It's
black and
nice
white
fun.
version?
I don't think I do, but I also haven't finished editing everything I took, so.
I do a black and white version of this
Oh,
too.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, the flowers are cool, but I think black and white, this would be really,
Oh, yeah, to bring out the texture in that wood,
Yeah.
definitely. I probably will make a few black and white. I kind of got a little obsessed and just took a bunch from that spot.
I like the color. I like the color.
I think if you see
Yeah,
it done in
like
black and white,
somebody
you'll
was-
like that.
Yeah.
In black and white or color, the thing that I've been noticing is the inside of the wheel where it goes down to total black. I was wondering if there was a way to light it just a little more shadow, use shadow, or actually use the black slider. But I like the contrast everywhere else, but I was wondering if you could isolate that black area so that there's just a little tease of detail in there.
Yeah,
I see
use
some.
the dodging tool a little bit.
You can dodge a little bit, or you could, if you're working in Lightroom, you can throw that radial filter that I preach
Yep.
about all the time
Yep.
around that wheel, and just work on the inside of that and bring the
Different
shadows up
texture
just a
out.
hair, like
Yep.
they're saying. Don't brighten it up to where you're looking inside the wheel, but
Yeah.
Right.
just
Yeah,
bring the
that-
edges up a hair.
On
That
my
was the-
screen, I get detail in the wheel.
No, for me, that was the only thing that I saw that, as I went looking, what got most of my attention as far as critiquing, and it would be just a little more light in that darkest area.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good picture. I like the picture a lot.
It's
I
great.
like the subject an awful lot. I
Yeah.
really do.
Definitely.
Nice.
Very good.
Mhm.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right. Hey, that takes us a little after 9 o'clock. I think that's about it for tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, I want to thank everybody for having me join your group here for this.
Well,
Very
we're glad
nice.
you joined.
It was very nice. to
Thank
meet
you, Jim.
Nice meeting all of you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was good meeting you, Jim. Margie,
Thank you.
Brian, let's not let him go. So let's make sure he has a way back next time.
Yep, I'm gonna put you. I got your email now. I got it figured out, so I'll get it in our regular system. That way, you get our emails all the time.
Okay, thank you very much.
But we
See you,
appreciate
Jim.
you joining us. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did,
Good to see you
and
again.
everybody have a good week.
You
All right,
too.
You too.
Thank you, you
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. There's nothing else. I guess we can call it an evening.
All right.
In Hannistown this weekend is the court reenactment.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
Hannistown Court reenactment Saturday and Sunday. Very interesting.
Very cool.
I actually charged a battery for my camera. I found it, so
Yay.
Ooh, good.
I might
gotta charge
decide to use it
mine.
one day this week or next week or something.
Oh, I gotta charge mine. I forgot. Marty, you are gonna remind me,
For what?
Danny, to charge my battery.
Well, charge your battery.
Put it on
Brian?
now.
Brian, were you photographing
I-
a yellow Thunderbird this weekend?
No, I raced over the weekend, so I was.
Or somebody else?
Yeah, no,
Looks
I
like you.
raced on Saturday, and then I did a benefit ride yesterday with motorcycle. So I was
Yeah, okay.
on a motorcycle all day yesterday.
Somebody looked like you.
Yep,
So
yeah.
you can take a benefit ride over there to talk about Thursday night, huh?
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know how much I got to do. We'll see. I got a lot of stuff going on, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right, guys.
See
Hey.
ya.
Good night.
Night
Good
all.
all.
Good
Thank
night.
you all.
Well,
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.